Hi guys, my name's Simon Drew. I am half of We GevEF, and my partner Yvonne de S in this project is coming along shortly. We're both going to be talking on a pre-recorded piece that was done a couple of days ago between the two of us, where we were bouncing around ideas and just generally have a discussion about where we are with this new project and how we're going to talk about it. And we decided to release it because it's a fairly loose and very much a real life, and that's a big part of what we're doing here, real life stuff. But it's very much a real life conversation where you'll see the broad spectrum of the way that we relate to the humans, men and women living in the modern world. So today's video that you're about to watch, our first video, is a broad introduction. Treat it as such. It's just an introduction to the kind of content we're going to be talking about throughout this project. There'll be 2 or 3 other videos that we do which are much more specific and will identify a lot of really simple stuff that we'll be talking about, how the human condition is impacted. And then the main premise of the videos after that will be with a guest, and we will be inviting guests on to relate to a specific statement that we will announce at the end of each video on an ongoing basis. So there'll be numerous guests with numerous statements, and we'll be inviting you to respond and request that you come on and talk about a specific statement that resonates with you. 1 week it won't, 1 week it will, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But we'll be talking with somebody who has a reaction to a particular statement that we share, and we'll be using that as a way of educating you on how powerful our language is and how it can help us understand ourselves more. And I'm not going to say any more than that. Please come along and watch a few of them and you'll get the idea. We're going to be effectively coaching individuals through how their feelings are impacted via a particular statement, how our language impacts us in general, and how, everything that impacts us is very much tied to our language and our interpretation of the world we live in. The people around us, the things we're experiencing in the different situations. We're all in very much different situations. So please enjoy. And if you've got any questions, comments, requests even about which statements you'd like to even have us talk about, please pop that below. Feel free to say hi. Let us know what you get from the information we're about to share with you here. And we both look forward to speaking with some of you live to declassify some of the relationships we have with the world around us. We've got a lot of interesting ground to cover, and we intend to make it fun and exciting and intriguing to learn about each and every one of you. And so you can have a better understanding and a better awareness of who you are in the world and what you can create for yourself in your own reality. For your time here on planet Earth. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to speaking with many of you soon. Literally, I just saw a black hole of nothingness because I was so not somebody who was comfortable walking away from a relationship because I was codependent. So I was not the person who could walk away because I was codependent and I had to stay. It was not a choice. It was a death. Obligated. It was a black hole of death. Literally, that's all the option. That's literally all the option was.
Energetically, it is.
Yeah, and that's who I was. And the reason why it's important to say that to the audience is because it took me from that point. I was 27 at that point. So it took me almost 30 years, like 29 years to get past codependency, properly, what I deem as being properly past it. I know it took me a long time to, and it took like a long time to even figure that out. That's what was the problem. It took 20 27 years to figure it out. Oh, I'm codependent. Oh shit, what do I do? And then figure out how to do it, and then practice not being it, and figure, you know, but
Seriously, yeah.
and
It's a
in it,
process. It is a
yeah,
process.
yeah,
And
and
layers to it.
yeah,
Layers to it.
and the thing is, when you're resigned because often you don't see an option, because the option is just like an abyss, just like my route was. There was stay the same or go into an abyss, and it's just like, what? No, it's just like, no. So guess what you
And
do?
that's
You drink,
interesting.
you
Yep,
take drugs,
yep,
you do all the
yeah.
things you shouldn't
The
do
coping.
eventually.
And why
Yeah,
do people do that is because typically they're bombarded with so much shit saying, oh, this is where, oh, the marketing manipulation that
yeah,
some people out there, the altruistic narcissists and or people that really are well intentioned, but how much do they really know and how much have they really researched? How much have they really experienced
yeah. They're selling a product
to
to fit
really
you.
be
Yeah,
able to, yeah, and so
yeah,
they're like bombarded with so much bullshit, they don't even know what to believe or what to
yeah,
choose.
yeah. Which
So
is
that's,
why,
and this is what they do. They give up and then they just cope with other things because they don't
yeah,
know where to turn,
yeah,
typically.
and then eventually, if you related to as having depression or real dark thoughts, you'll either kill
Yeah,
yourself, or
exactly. Then that's
you'll do, or you'll force yourself to actually change somehow, and then you'll go hunting, and then yes, you may become prey to those people you've just described, or you come to people like us who actually give a fuck, and we can help you,
hence
because
the
yeah, and yeah, and it's not like we're
yeah.
selling it, but we're saying we're giving you straight information. You can either go to these people who are trying to sell you something. They're the people who you see on Facebook and Instagram and wherever else saying do X, Y, and Z, follow our formula, da 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 da. And are they sharing their story? Are they sharing where they came from? Are they telling you they actually
You
have
their
walked the
why.
talk? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, they may have a story even, and you're always going to have to put faith in whoever you go to work with or whatever route you take. And you may well try 10, 20, 50 options. And all we're trying to say is look for the integrity of what you're buying. Look for the words, look for the
Look for
actions
who is behind
yeah.
it.
There is no
Going
money.
back to the, yeah, go
There's no
ahead.
magic formula. There's no magic formula. You are required to go into the abyss. If you relate to it as an abyss or
And
a darkness,
apply
that's the only
it.
way. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
and work,
And
chip away at
apply
it.
it.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah,
consistent application too, because a lot of people they know the information. How much are they applying the information that they're learning? And
yeah,
what
yeah,
I feel, what we're sharing, what I feel it does is take all those other attempts to get to this place, it converts it to wisdom. You see how it did help in some way, or it served the purpose, or it
yeah,
helped teach you something. This to me helps embody the wisdom by the connecting the knowledge with experience.
yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely, yeah, yeah,
And then you
yeah. It
feel
definitely
the
does.
truth of what is being shared.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's going to be that journey. It's going to be the you'll have you'll
Oh, it's a
be you'll
roller
come out.
coaster.
It's literally the roller coaster because
But
you're
when you have the support system like we have that we are offering and sharing, that it helped me tremendously to have Simon helping me through a process I just recently went through.
yeah,
It
yeah, yeah,
sped up that processing time, which helped me learn the lessons, connect the dots, get why it happened, get why it was attracted to me in my reality, get where it stemmed from, and allowed me
yeah,
to be able to shift that perception of it which changed a huge amount in me, how I
Yeah.
feel now.
Yeah. Because the two of us have that awareness of what each other is going through, and this is the way when we're coaching people as well. We know
Hey,
this because we
give me
know.
an
Yeah, yeah. We give AF, and we know what it is to go through stuff. So that you get to understand the way the human being works. So that's exactly. So you can basically advise whether to go more into it, whether you need a plank on the forehead to this is what you need to hear, whether it be just ignoring on sometimes just let the person just rant, um, um, because it's just having an awareness of knowing what it was like for your own self to perceive those things when you did them, and what's required that will create the best outcome, and
That's a good one.
realization for the other person, because they're the person who's at the end going through the process is actually in it, is the one that is really, it's the where they're guiding the whole thing. So
Mm,
their
mm.
experience is the way it goes. Um, they lead the way without knowing it. That's the interesting point, actually.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And
Most coach. Yeah,
as the listeners learn as much as others learn from what we that sharing, that connecting, that
yeah,
connection that most people are looking for.
yeah,
What we're talking about is a big aspect of that, because most people are where they are because they lacked that level of connection and people really truly caring
yeah,
about them.
yeah.
And it's not
That's
that the parents or the family or whoever didn't care. It's just they didn't know what it was any more than
yeah,
we
yeah.
did, because
That's the
of
thing
this
about the
program
modern world, isn't it?
and how this
It's
is what we're
yeah,
sharing.
yeah. That's one of them. If the probably the biggest issue with the modern world and the mechanical nature of the society we live in, where we get up, we go to work, we do this, we do that, it's all regimented,
Exactly.
and there's a lack of connection in most professions, especially the more electronics it's got. It's actually, there's not this
No
one-on-one
kidding.
connection, which is when we were, when we were running about in swinging through the trees to a certain degree or whatever, being, before the written word and all that sort of stuff. We were very tribal until a few hundred years ago in many parts of the world.
Right,
And there are
right.
a few very small places, I think very few tribes now left that are traditional, proper tribes living like they did thousands of years ago, but if any.
Right.
But they
Yeah.
have their own support systems, and they
Yeah.
literally, they're symbiotic. They relate to each other in a
Yeah.
very fluid, supportive way, and we
Yeah.
just don't have
That's
that
a great
anymore generally.
analogy. Well,
Yeah.
and a couple things I wanted to touch on real quick, if you don't mind, is because the Ubuntu tribe, specifically,
Mm,
I know I don't know about other tribes, but Ubuntu,
yeah.
what they would do, and this ties into the lack of connection and why, especially in like privileged countries and things like that, this is a big issue. Is what have we been taught when we make mistakes? We're typically shamed, punished, in trouble for making a mistake, as opposed to being
Yeah.
taught how to learn from it. Well, this Ubuntu tribe, I believe it's in Africa, they, when somebody makes a mistake in the tribe, they all gather around that person and they tell them what they did right,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
To
a big
remind
difference
them.
in how we've
Yeah.
been taught. And how
Yeah.
much is anybody going to want to admit how they feel, or what mistakes they've made when they've been shamed for it and
Yeah.
they've been made punished for it, they've been
Yeah.
criticized for it, they've been made to feel like a piece of shit for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who's going to
Absolutely.
want to admit they're imperfect and make mistakes when that's the kind of shit they get when they do admit, or
Yeah. And when
people
we,
find out? How was lying even invented? Oh, because if I don't
yeah.
lie, I guess I'm going to get yelled at and in trouble for being
Yeah.
imperfect.
which relates to me back to how it's ridiculous to have some sort of examination system for kids all like from like 4 or 5 years
Oh,
old, because immediately they're
don't
put in a
even.
pressure system that is
Yep.
hugely damaging, because they're being brought into a world, especially with the English language, as we know, whereby everything aims back at the negative. Predominantly, it's aimed at
Yeah.
negative. We live in a
Yep.
negative
And we
statement
shift that
language.
focus. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So immediately
And
there's the
here's
conversation
we're going to lead
inside.
into what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
And
Sorry.
which is all connected to the resignation, where when you're 35, whatever years old, and you're in this cycle of repetitive nonsense, because you were programmed when you were 5 years old to relate to yourself as not good enough, or unable to be as good as the other people around you, whatever it might be. So you've been programmed since then to be resigned. And as you've got older, you've just been able to then have sex, drugs, and rock and roll and pretend everything's fine to
All the
appease your
distractions,
discomfort.
all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
escapes, all the
yeah,
avoidance, all the shiny things that keep us
yeah,
from facing those aspects of ourselves mostly. And I feel like people would face those aspects of themselves, but they don't know who to trust. They don't feel like
yeah,
people really care, which happens where they don't care about themselves anymore and they've just given up, really,
yeah.
because it's like, well,
Well,
everybody's full
if
of
you think
shit.
about it, if their parents, had some sort of, it doesn't really matter what reaction the parents had in some respects. But if you're bringing home, if exam results come home when you're 5 years old, you are not mature enough
Right.
to accept any kind of feedback, really.
Yeah.
And you'll still be wanting to please your parents, but it doesn't matter what they say, because they might just look at you slightly differently and tell you you're a really good boy or a good girl, you did really well, and you'll
Yeah.
think something
Yeah.
else anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. I
So
mean,
in the moment you become a liar and you become unlovable and whatever else you decide.
in a moment, because somebody in a trusted position of authority said so,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and we
because this,
accepted it blindly as truth.
yeah. And the structure of the system is that you have to go to school. You have to do these things. And so you're fucked.
This is why the world is fucked. This is the very reason.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's literally that way. There's no other way of putting it
Yep.
that's has so much clarity, really. Well, hence the
It
name
really,
once
right.
again.
Here's That's the name we give you. And this is
Yeah.
what, and honestly, I would post this regardless of the fact that there's no background, fancy,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
honestly, we're about real people, real talk, real time, right? So
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
hair isn't done, fancy,
Yeah.
and whatever.
I've got these
But
silly
I
headphones
showed
on.
up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I showed
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and you showed up,
Yeah.
and to me, this is gold.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll just post
this
this
is
then
really
as it
gold.
is. So hello everybody.
Starting
Hi,
off with
my
this
name's Simon
conversation,
Drew.
we started off, we were like, okay, how can we intro this? How can we
We
lead
are
into who
just
we're
here to
happening?
interrupt your
And we
normal
just
viewing
started
and
So here we are being real people, real talk in real time.
yeah,
And
indeed
we
we
did
are.
the stupid, so you don't have to. And this is what we're going to be sharing, is the
Yeah,
stupid that we did. So
yeah,
hopefully you won't have to. And we're going to save you decades of time,
yeah,
money, and energy
yeah, yeah,
so
for
that you
sure.
can start realizing what it is to be alive, not just
Yeah,
existing, and being
yeah.
happy and fulfilled. Just Simon and I have a perfect life with all the perfect thing, the big house, the white picket. No. Are we
No.
happy and excited doing what we love and able to be free? Yes.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Totally. And
Totally.
yeah. And the thing, that's the
And
thing.
so it's changing what is our perception of success and wealth and abundance and all these things that people are trying to manifest by manifesting money. Well, look
Yeah.
what's happened to the dollar, people.
Yeah.
So what can we do? What is possible in times like these that can get us to this place where we're still living large
Yeah.
and in charge?
Yeah, and that's the key to the whole thing, is that rising above the everyday normal circumstances or abnormal circumstances of the dollar being down the toilet or the pound being up, which is actually a little bit better at this side of the pond. But you know what I'm saying? It's not about it's not about it all comes down to a lot to do with, it's literally how you perceive everything. How are you viewing everything around you? And if
All
it's
right.
not, and if you can just change your view and your thought about the view and the thought about the thing around you, then you are winning. And
Why?
very often,
Because our perceptions shape, convert energy into matter.
yeah,
Quantum physics proves
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Continue.
And it doesn't
So our
mean,
perceptions are real. Yeah.
yeah. So the clue in your everyday life is, if you're finding things difficult, if you're experiencing some kind of pain or discomfort around what it's like to be in your life, your biggest opportunity to transform your life into a better life, to experience life in a much more fulfilling way, is to change what your perceptions are of the things around you. How are you labeling the environment? How are you relating to the people around you? Are you focusing on the negative aspects of people rather than the positive? Are you thinking about your situation and belittling yourself? Are you thinking about other people's situations around you and the way they're pointing the finger at you, that you're being a particular way? How are you creating those
That's
thoughts in your
judgment.
mind?
Yeah.
And how can you manage those thoughts or manipulate your words, your statements in your head, to bring about something that is more a better way of relating to things, which will in
And
time,
more
if
accurately.
yeah, if repeated, and yes, and focusing on the truth as opposed to the fictional stuff, which is just the same old thing. Oh, Brian's still doing that. Oh, well, okay. Poor Brian, he really annoys me. Whatever it is, what is Brian doing? Well, at least Brian's in your life, showing up. Maybe you can look at him in a different way. Maybe you can relate to him a different way. Maybe you can ask him a different question.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know.
a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
How
good
could you?
one. The
Yeah,
questions.
yeah,
Ask questions. Seek to
yeah,
understand, because that's a brilliant, brilliant. Because going back to the perceptions, one thing that Simon and I used to do, for me considerably, is, because of all these things that shape us, which we're going to get into, we're going to explain step by step what's been happening, why, how did we get to where we are now, and individually as well as collectively. And when there are times, and even recently, I'm constantly observing how I'm perceiving things, because my lens has been blurred from those things I was taught as a child. So that affected my perception of people and things and places and relationships and how I related to them. So when I'm perceiving someone or a situation, is it really the truth? Or is it that my perception might have been skewed from something I was taught that wasn't necessarily true, or
yeah,
isn't fully accurate, or isn't the whole story, or isn't all sides of the story? And how do we know until we ask the questions and seek to understand, to get a better view and and even things that we know. I've gotten deeper and more amazing insights from listening and learning from others and their perceptions. So
yeah,
it's a big thing to because how we're perceiving our world and ourselves is having a huge impact on our lives and what's happening in them.
Yeah. What definitely tends to happen, especially in modern times, and the last few years have been a perfect example of how it works, is that if there's something that we don't understand, we have undoubtedly been called to rely upon bodies of influence, the government, medical
Mm,
profession,
mm,
whatever it might be, that have boundless energy into boundless resources and awareness and knowledge way beyond ourselves individually. However, what that then causes us to do is just deny our own sovereign way of perceiving things. So this is where, even on a one-to-one conversation with a friend in a bar, or wherever you might be at work, whatever it might be, um, if there's something that you don't understand about what the other person is saying, and you have the right, being their friend and being in a relationship with them, to ask them a question. Where did that thought come from? Well, how is it your view, you have that view? And the interesting thing is that when you do that, you'll two things are quite likely to happen. One is the person will be adamant they have their view and that's it, thank you very much. They effectively not want to go into why they believe that thing, um, and that's their right to do that. But the interesting thing to look at it from your point of view, you're looking to expand your awareness of this particular question. You're looking to understand them better. What they're doing is they're closing themselves off. They have made a choice to not expand their awareness. They are holding on to a belief or a point of view and calling it the truth. And
mm,
and many
mm.
people out in the world right now are very much like that, because
Yeah.
they, in some ways, they're stuck in a belief or a belief system, even that they do not want to expand their view of the world and of themselves. They want to stay righteous, as it were, about their belief, and that causes them to stay stagnant. They don't grow. They don't create things. They're not creating anything. However, if you stay in inquiry with that person or with other people, you continue to ask good questions, simple questions. How come you believe that? What is it? Where did you get that idea from? I'm interested to hear. In an inquiring and open-minded way, you're not trying to trigger, you're not going around trying to trigger
Because
people.
you really want to, oh yeah, you're
You want to
seeking
know,
to
you want to grow.
understand.
Yeah, we're looking to
Yeah,
connect with the person more as well.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
very,
Giving a
yeah, and I suspect, yeah, exactly, doing exactly what the kind of work we do. Asking good questions is gold, because you'll learn who you can resonate with and create something with in your life. You'll learn how to be able to grow a relationship by being inquiring about the other person, giving AF about what they think. And you're going to learn how they relate to the world and how they relate to the particular thing you're talking about, and you'll get better connection. So
yeah,
it's in a way,
yeah,
actually, it's the magic, even that's the magic source for creating more connection with anybody. So if you're in
yeah,
your life, if you're feeling disconnected, if you feel like you want to zone out on your own, and there's don't get me wrong, there is the right time to do that, and some people like more time on their own, and that's completely normal. They get to choose that. But if you wish to create more connectedness with other people, it's to be an inquiring mind person, where you ask questions, and you go out into the world and do that with anybody on a park bench, when you're walking, sitting on the bus, whatever it might be. Ask that person you see every day, but you never talk to them. Why,
right, right.
um,
Yeah,
and
and it.
sorry,
Oh, go
I'll
ahead.
just finish. You will get way more back than you're expecting if you have that
Yeah,
inquiring mind, and you will
yep,
grow your connection with other people, and you'll feel better in yourself by being somebody that does that.
yep, yep. And you learn a lot about yourself through talking with and connecting with that other person and asking those questions, because even though they are an individual with their individual experiences, which really all we can speak to is our experiences. Well, what has happened is that our self-expression got shut down as
Yeah.
children, and we weren't really allowed to figure out who we are, what we want, what we enjoy, what we love, what we want to do. It was just these set of rules and expectations that have been set on us. And if we didn't do it this way, then we were criticized and judged and
Yeah.
shamed and guilted and manipulated essentially for not doing what we were told.
Yeah.
And yet, inside each of us, there is this wisdom that each experience, each person, like a friend of mine, he's a cook at a restaurant. He's one of the most brilliant people I've ever talked to and know. And listening
Yeah.
to him, he blows my mind because he cared enough to learn through his experiences different things. And so it's really having a place to come where we can share what we love, what we desire, what we choose, who we want to be, who what do we get
Mm.
to do? Here's what we've been told we should do.
Yeah.
Here's what we've been told how things work. Yet what is most people's issue? This system isn't meant to handle our spirit
Yeah.
and who
Yeah.
we really are. And so it's working against us. So a lot of people are shut down because they really don't know what to do. And so here we want to provide a means of the what, the why, and the how of what's happening so that you can get answers to your questions, any question, and
Yeah.
how it can show up in your life, how you can connect with, and who to trust, and how to
Yeah.
trust yourself,
Yeah.
because those things are really important to get to. Because part of, like Simon was talking about earlier, a lot of these things that shape us, well, what have we been taught to believe? Only listen to people with titles, pieces of paper that have degrees and followers, and those are the only people worth listening to.
Yeah.
And we shut ourselves off considerably from opportunities as well as a lot of wisdom when we do that. Because even though, yes, it is important to get feedback from people who have degrees and things in these fields, certain fields, health, wellness, whatever, at the same time, do they care? Do
Yeah.
they care enough to that they really did their homework? So, for instance, I have a friend who's an expert in biomechanics. There's a lot of things that people are doing in the fitness industry and they don't even realize it's terrible for them.
Yeah.
And he, because he cared enough, he invented a phenomenal product that's one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. Is he out there and well known? Nope.
Yep.
Nope. So, it's a matter of finding people that do have education and experts, but they care enough about helping people, or are they just somebody that wants to exploit an illness or a situation?
Yeah. And that's where I think where that leads me to is that what most people, and this is me and you, like even only 3-4 years ago, maybe even less in some respects.
Mhm.
Our way of perceiving the world is manipulated by the words we use and the statements we use. So when we even say, trusted parties, or when we're out looking in the
Yeah.
world at who is the right people to speak to, who calls to me,
Mhm.
often the words they use will say a lot about where they're coming from and what their actual energy of their message is. Um, and one of the things we're definitely going to be highlighting in the way we talk to people on this YouTube channel is by relating very much to the word, so you can start to understand what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
We know words have energy. Individual words have energy. Statements with multiple words in have even more energy. And just in the simple statements we're going to be reflecting on for a number of sessions, you'll start to see where certain words hold a very negative way of holding you in a particular mindset. And other words are actually very positive, and they're most to be negative, to be honest, that we'll be talking about, because these, when you understand how powerful they are, you'll notice that in a lot of big companies, a lot of big brands, they use negative language to pull you in, to make you guilt ridden enough to want their product so much more, or
Yep.
guilt ridden, or kind of upset more. Yeah, they
Exploit that.
exploit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be
Yep.
exploiting your sensitivities for, in a negative way, quite often, as a more so than a positive one. Let's just put it
Turning
that
you
way.
into a consumer.
Yeah. So
It
they're
turns
trying
you
to,
into a consumer,
yeah,
filling a
they
void.
try, yeah, they trigger an automatic response without you realizing. They're actually punching you in the face with these statements, and you just go, oh my god, I really need that. And
Right.
so, and this is where, and the reason why your words are so powerful to me, in my reflection on the power of the words, is my internal statements, my internal speaking to myself. And that's truly where the show, the series of statements we're going to use, you're going to be able to see how you would relate to those statements, how you would do. You might say many of these statements in your own head at times. You'll be able to go, oh yeah, I say that, and then we'll talk about it, and you go, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. Because what you're
And most
doing,
of these statements are one we've said.
yeah, we've been there. Yeah, we know they're good ones because we feel them as well.
Right.
We feel them, and we're so glad we've managed to deprogram ourselves from them.
Yeah.
But
And it
this
can
is
be
what.
much simpler than what we think. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is so simple when you've seen, if you watch it through a few of the shows, you'll see how simple this is. And also on the back of that, we're gonna have some of you on as guests, and well, I hope there'll be a guest each week with these shows. But there is, you're going to see how the words impact that person's life, what it really means to them, and you're going to be able to reflect on, oh my god, that's how deep that goes. This is a rabbit hole
Mhm.
throughout your entire dialogue. It really is. It's actually a lot simpler than we're making it sound. And we're gonna teach you all of this stuff for free,
Yep.
and you're gonna be
Yep.
very happy we did so. But please stick with a few episodes, because you're going to get into the feels of people's stories just through simple words. And when you understand this, you'll start to see it throughout your everyday life, and you'll see it in your head. You'll hear it in your head.
You will
And
feel
suddenly
it and
you'll
experience it
feel it in your
different.
body. Yeah. And you'll start to be able to, if you like, manipulate or control or manage yourself way better. And we're going to play some games with you to help this to be a bit more lighthearted. It is lighthearted. This is all going to be fun and lighthearted, but you'll get
It
that
is
it
going to be
feels, yeah, it's about the feeling of it all and how you experience the words, and because words really are where we live. In most of our day-to-day life, we are talking to ourselves, and that's predominantly where we are. We live inside our head talking to ourselves, and that is where most of our, well, it is where our reality exists. We perceive everything and we make it into words. Yes, we think pictures, but it has a word attached to it usually, even the colors. Oh, that's orange. Oh.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's very simple and powerful, and that's why we're doing this and why we wanted to get this out there, is because we've been there. We get what it was like to feel trapped and alone and not knowing where to turn or who to trust, and listening to all the stuff we were told to do that was the right thing to do, and yet still our life was hell. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why bother?
Yeah.
What is the point?
Yeah.
And and the answers started to come and show up for us, and we started down this path, and that's what we want to share, is how you can discover the truth of you in your journey and become who you choose to be, not what anyone else tells you you should be or to be. and
Yeah,
how to get to
absolutely.
the truth of yourself past that lens, that blurred lens that we've been taught to see through and see the truth, that clear mirror and
Yeah,
the clear lens of who you really are and can be and what's
yeah,
truly possible, which is beyond what we really have been told and taught as well.
yeah. And that's one of
And I,
the great things. That's one of the great things about the language aspect as well, is knowing that we're all individual, and we all have individually, we are totally unique, and we have our own narrative going on inside our own head. Nobody else knows what it is, only we do. So we have ultimate control about our thoughts and words that we use. So yeah, whenever you're going to learn how to understand better, how to take information in from other people, how you listen to it, how you listen to the words they use, how you feel the energy of the words they use. So you're going to be able to filter better to what you know works for you, and vice versa,
good one.
what words you can put out into the world in other conversations with other people, what you can write in a letter to somebody, whatever it might be, what words really work most powerfully for you to say what you desire to say, fully desire to say, as opposed to feeling a little bit of like uncomfortable. Oh, I'm not sure that's quite right. You'll have a much better, precise way of
You'll
speaking.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have
You'll
more
know.
certainty. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You'll
yeah,
feel that it'll resonate with you. And
yeah,
here's the interesting aspect of it. The truth will be whatever resonates with you, and wherever you're at in your experience, in your journey that resonates with the truth, there's something to learn from that,
yeah,
and something to be said about that, and delving deeper into that, asking more questions, get to the truth more. And so
yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It can and is very fun to practice and do these things. Do we dig deep? So the words have a powerful effect, yes, viscerally even, and yet it can be fun. And having a support system where people you can come, that people truly give AF about you and your journey, and giving our time and energy to help assist people through this process, and share and have fun doing it.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
we're both really excited because this is a game changer. This really can be a game
Totally
changer,
is. Yeah,
should
yeah. It
people
brings.
choose to, if they resonate.
Yeah, and I just want to add one thing there as well, is that when you learn to begin to really communicate more effectively in the moment in your truth, the practice is to know you never reach anywhere, because in the next moment or an hour or 2 days later, you're in a new truth. So you're consistently, as you get more practiced at this, you'll see that the practice is the process, which is who you are. That's who you are. You're a practicing person. You're practicing at life all of the time, and you perfect what you desire. You move towards what resonates with you, what feels good for you, rather than pushing away from and trying to protect yourself. You move towards what you actually desire. And that
Yeah,
could just
that's
be
a good
just using it could literally just be expressing more compassion for an animal. It could be saying, I love you to your partner once a
point.
day, as a ritual practice. It could be anything, but you're moving more towards what you desire through the power of your energy and your words and who you're being. And as I say, your truth in one moment is, try look at it as you are a moving energy ball, and you are floating through the universe,
You're
manifesting
in
and
your little
creating.
energy bubble, like we're all
Yeah,
in our
yeah,
little energy hamster
yeah,
wheels.
yeah. And you're going out to the world and just having fun and playing as much as you can, because why
It
would you
is
not want to
so much,
be, yeah,
even
why
at
would you
work,
not want to
it's
be that?
play.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and especially when it's simple, it doesn't require a product that you have to buy or a pill that you
mm,
have to take or whatever. Well,
mm.
sometimes it's a bitter one.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
and
yeah.
it and it actually you end up liking the sour.
Yeah. It's
um,
it gets to the point. Actually, it does get to the point where you're looking for something bad to happen because
that's what
because
most people's issue is,
yeah,
is that
yeah,
they're waiting for that other shoe to drop, and it's and see,
yeah,
this is an important part. Those mistakes, those things you fear because of the unknown outcome, and if you make this choice or this change, whatever, these mistakes, these things that we were brought up being judged for growing up, this
yeah,
freak side of us that are actually stepping stones to your success, are
yeah,
actually lessons about who you really are and
yeah,
what you've been told you're not. So
yeah.
they
And it's
turn
where you get to
into
play.
powerful and
Yes.
tools. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where you get to play. It's
Yeah.
literally some shit's coming at me. It's playtime. Yes. Let's get the tool bag out. We're ready. Here we go. Okay, right. Oh, he's using that word. Oh, that makes me feel really horrible. I'm gonna cry. Whatever it is, but you can literally you can literally have fun with it. But it will be uncomfortable. But you get to play. You get to play in the
Yeah.
discomfort
Yeah.
because
I was
you've
just
got a
bawling my
way.
eyes out last week,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Me this afternoon as well. So yeah, experiencing life is That film got me.
Yeah.
I
And
watched a
it's
film
just
called
not
Seven
about,
Pounds.
yeah.
It was yeah,
Oh, yeah. That's a good
it
one.
was good.
It's a
It was
powerful
good.
one. It's a powerful one. And some of the guests, we have some guests lined up to speak already. You will hear from them as well how powerfully this has impacted them.
Yeah,
So we're excited to have you join us and on this journey. Simon and I are co-creating this together. We are co-creating What the Freak
yeah,
movement that is really about getting this message out there and providing a support system for people to be able to come and be who their freak self, find their
yeah.
freak side, that the freak flag that they want to fly, and the individual you that's valuable and worth, your voice is worth something to us. And we're here to
Absolutely. Yeah,
guide you through the process and ask questions to get to some aspects and help you get to that part of yourself so you can let that freak flag fly. And then
yeah.
also, Simon, go ahead and share what you've got going with what you do. He does brilliant work.
Yeah.
He's
So
helped me
I
tremendously.
Well, we've definitely helped each other. I mean, we've got some similar backgrounds in terms of the coaching tech we use, especially the language side of things. Um, but I predominantly am working with regular people who are successful in life, and steering them wholeheartedly individually towards a life that really works from the same, if you like, the same anguish points we've already talked about today, which is really they've hit a kind of midlife crisis wall, if you like, of like, what the fuck am I, how the hell did I get here? And they've
What the
got the
freak?
picket. Yeah, what the freak happened? I spent 40 years and you've got the Land Rover in the drive or whatever, I've got the picket fence, I've got the dog, I've even got the horse somewhere. I don't know where
Right,
it lives.
right.
But these are successful people, and the meaning of life has become completely void. It's just like, why am I here? And they've been, and these are people that I
Yeah,
predominantly will work with, people who really have been sitting on this discomfort feeling that we're talking about, this, the same pandemic, the resignation, but they've been searching, just not found the thing that did the thing. That's your statement.
right.
um
Yeah.
so and I'm over in the UK, so I work globally like Yvonne does as well. We can do so many things online now, which is amazing. um but I'm wholeheartedly behind the What the Freak movement as well, and certainly behind what are we?
We are
Who
being
are
examples of
yeah,
what it means to co-create and not
yeah,
be competitive.
yeah,
Because again, going back to what the freak, the other aspect of that is frequency. Everything is frequency. So we
yeah,
know that people are going to resonate with whatever they resonate with. So
yeah,
there's really no need to compete because some will resonate with me, some will resonate with him,
yeah,
some will
yeah,
resonate with some other people that we bring on or share with, or we can
yeah,
recommend. I will recommend to others if this
yeah,
particular me or him aren't aren't it. We
Yeah.
simply want to guide you and show you how you can make those choices for yourself, how you can trust that guidance and know
Yeah.
what choice to make and who to trust. So that's why
Yeah.
we're really here.
That
About the
is literally why
competition,
we're here.
about
Yeah.
collaboration.
Because the word competition for me, I I declare doesn't exist for me anymore because of what you just stated.
Yep,
And that is that I don't want to work with people who don't resonate. I won't work with them. I will refuse to work with them. So
exactly.
my process itself of bringing people on board as customers or clients is involves me deciding whether they're right for me as much as them deciding whether
Yeah,
I'm right for them.
right,
Because I
right.
know we both need to trust and care for each other. So if I have somebody who's in front of me who's got, I've got all the money, I want to do this, let's go for this, and I'm going, I don't feel like, I don't feel like I can trust this person to stay in my process, which means no, I don't win because he doesn't win. So I want my customers to win. And if I get that they don't feel like they're going to be able to do this, I'm not the right person for them. So I will maybe recommend other people. I may well say, look, come back in a month, come back in a year, whatever it might be that I feel is the right way of speaking to. And of course, this is not done in a rude way. This is done in a very caring, supportive way, you know.
Yeah,
And so it's all about the frequency. Our whole life
yeah.
is all about how we resonate with the surroundings we're in, the people we're around. And what if there was anything actually to really take away from what we're trying to say today, is we want you to have the ability to understand your own frequency and what really works for you, so that when you go out into when you wake up in the morning, what's the frequency of your thoughts? How do you feel in your body? What do you feel like how is the best way for you to approach this next moment as you climb out of bed? Which is all about the frequency. What are the thoughts in your head? The words create a particular way of being and a particular sensory feedback loop and a feeling in your body. So it's about really understanding that stuff, and we're here to freely educate you around what our experience is and how the words affect the feelings and all of that stuff. But
For
really,
instance,
this is
manifesting. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, being able to
People
create.
people talk about manifesting. You hear all these gurus and experts talk about manifesting. Here's how you manifest money. Here's how you manifest
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
We're manifesting what who we are,
yeah,
not just what we say
yeah,
we are, who we're
yeah,
actually being.
yeah,
And so, and a lot of that is unconsciously happening. And that's why people struggle with manifesting.
yeah. Because manifesting only really happens when you really own your own experience and do sit in your own the glory of being you. The understanding that you are your pure energy, only then is manifesting even on the table as a possibility. And so if you
Right.
go, if you're here to
Exactly.
manifest money only, or the love of my life only, you might get a few clues, but actually until you are able to manifest from the whole the real, the divine you, which is
Sustainable. We'll put it that way. Ooh, the
hidden
divine
under
you. Yeah.
the, yeah, which is hidden within all this. Really, you're hidden within loads of patterns. That's quite likely to be your current status. Patterns of
Yeah.
behavior, patterns of thought, statements about who you believe you are. Your self beliefs are a big stronghold of who you think you are in the world. And really, who we are in the world is just who we think we are. It's not written down, set in stone anywhere. No, they're just thoughts in your head. And it's so normal, that set of thoughts, that it feels like the truth, like it's really real. And it
Right.
feels real,
That's the
but it's
important
actually
point,
just
actually.
thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so really, we're here to really decode, back to a word you've used many times, Yvonne, but we're really here to decode all of that stuff going inside you. So, and it will literally be one word at a time, literally, almost. You'll almost be one word at a time. Oh, this word makes me feel like that. Why is that? And you'll start to
Right.
understand how to get into who you really are. And yeah, so it all comes down the frequency, which is what it comes down to, the frequency of words that you say to yourself, the frequency of
Thoughts
how
or
your body
feelings
feels, what the
or
vibe is,
words.
all of those things.
Yeah.
And anyway, I could waffle on for ages on these things, you know that. I'll just keep going. And
Well, this is
yeah.
this is our unexpected, amazing intro that we were contemplating what we were going to do when we started, and just kind of turned into it. So here you go, real people,
Yeah.
real talk, real time,
Yeah, we're just in the
and
right vibe.
also, yeah, and now serving over 100 years of experience and doing the stupid, so you don't have to.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And
And
feel
we'll
free
be
to be stupid
back
still.
for,
It's all good.
yeah, yeah, trust me, last
Yeah.
week, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Still learning. It's a process.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a much faster process now, even going through some really challenging that would typically most people take them down quite a few notches. And for a while, I've learned to process and get through. And this is what we want to share, is how you can take those kinds of challenges and turn them into treasures and gems that
Mm.
will actually benefit you even more. And so we'll
Yeah.
get next episode, we will get more into the breakdown of, how our genetics, our caregivers, our environment, all these things impact us and shape what we, our choices, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Because that's how
Yeah.
we got to where we are now, is our choices. So next
Yeah,
episode
totally.
we'll get more into that. We're really looking forward to doing this and having a lot of fun with it, and we look forward to having you like and subscribe. So please join us. Feel free to comment if you're interested in being a guest and trying this out. So let us know, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.
We give
We do give AF.